let's talk about warrants. What the fuck, Goose? What the fuck is going on with ICE? Can you tell us a little bit about that? I know they released something, but
Yeah, I
it was
guess there was a
fascinating.
leaked memo. Like I've read it, I've read through it once. I'm getting more news reports on it than actual access to the memo. But it was dated from like May 12th, and they were basically informing ICE agents that you don't need a judicial warrant to go after and enter a home. You can do it off of an administrative warrant. And as we know, that's a clear violation of the Fourth Amendment. But they said that based on their interpretation and what they read as Supreme Court's interpretation, they don't need a judicial warrant and they can go ahead and enter homes.
Well, that's fascinating because there's actually no SCOTUS case that would actually show that. We don't have anything on that. In fact, what we know, it's been consistently reaffirmed, is that Title III judges are the only ones allowed to issue what we, in fact, think of as judicial warrants that come from a court that validate things like probable cause. Now, it's not to say that probable cause doesn't factor into executive action. It's just to say that so immigration judges function as they are under the executive branch. They are employees of the Department of Justice. In fact, one of my biggest contentions with immigration for years has been that immigration courts are not actually judicial courts. They are kind of like a proxy of the executive branch. And so to make this clear, essentially the DOJ makes sure all these people exist, but they also answer to the DOJ. So I find it to be a big conflict of interest when the person prosecuting you has to answer. Like, that doesn't make a lot of sense. But
Right.
like what we know, right, and what's constantly reaffirmed through the courts is like, and in fact, we just had a case out of Minnesota. It was a guy named, I think it was Garrett Gibson, where a federal judge said, fuck you, bitch. You broke into his house. You violated his Fourth Amendment right. And now you've got to release him. So they know better. They fucking know better.
I think the big problem is, and what I'm looking for is, we know that it's a violation, but who's going to hold them accountable? That's where we're
That's the bigger issue, right? So like
right.
generally when we see stuff like this, it is the executive that's going to hold them accountable. That is what they do. Legislative writes the laws. We'll take it Schoolhouse Rock for you guys. The legislative, they write the laws. The president, he also signs them, but you know what he does? The bigger part of the executive branch, they enforce the law. And the judicial branch interprets the law. The judicial branch on its own has no enforcement mechanism. That's why it becomes problematic. Oh, I can't check that right now. Whatever you said. Hold on.
You
Sorry,
get
I got
it?
a text from you. It's just said anyway, it doesn't matter.
Oh
All right.
no, that was probably me saying, "Okay, I'm ready when you are," and it's just now coming through
Oh,
because of your
it's
jacked up
probably just
hotel
my
internet.
hotel being a weirdo.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. But anyway, yeah, so that's what we know right now. So I want to say this, like I've seen a lot of people that are MAGA have strong feelings about this. One, they apparently don't understand how to affirmatively assert their rights, but I also have seen some, and I want to be clear, that have been very much like, this is too far now. This is too far. And I think that's interesting that we're starting to see a split here because I promise you, if they can break into somebody else's house, they can break into yours too. If you're MAGA, right? Like just imagine this. They're saying an administrative warrant is sufficient for them to come into your house and either seize your property or seize you. ATF, by the way, also part of the executive branch. If you own firearms and the ATF shows up at your door and says, hey, this administrative warrant is good enough and I'm going to take your shit, I guarantee you'll be singing a real different tune.
I have often heard many people across both sides of the aisle say, "You break into my house, you're playing the fuck around and find out game." Like for me personally, I'm just putting it out there. You break into my house, you're gonna hear ch ch, and
Uh-huh.
that's a universal fucking sound. And I'm not going to ask questions about who the fuck you are or why the fuck you're there. You broke into my house. I'm not waiting for any questions to be answered. The is going to be all the fucking answer I need. And that's problematic because we have stand your ground laws and we have the right to protect our castle or our home, depending on the state you're in. You come into my house and I don't know you're coming, you're playing a dangerous game.
Well, and you're also talking about a big problem we have too. There's something that the police like
Michigan
to
State.
Oh, hey.
Sorry.
There's something that police like to execute. It's called a no-knock warrant. Now, there's been a lot done in the past, I would say 5 or 10 years, particularly in the wake of people like Breonna Taylor and other things like that, to make a push to sort of limit these. And it's not to say there is some need for no-knock warrants. I will
Right.
never say there's no need for anything, because there are times and places where it is absolutely the most effective mechanism.
Aren't there like times of day where it's permitted and then certain times that it's not?
For some places say if you're going to execute a no-knock, it has to be between these hours. And I think that's responsible.
6 a.m. to 10
Yeah.
p.m., something
Because
like that.
imagine, and this goes for anybody, criminal,
2 in
not
the
criminal.
morning.
Yeah, if you're busting into my house at 2 a.m, there's going to be a very different reaction than if you're busting into my house at 5 o'clock in the evening. Now,
Right.
there are some places that limit times and places for no-knock warrants, but you bring up an interesting point about no-knocks, which is something I really advocate, that there should be very limited function, and you have to show way more cause than they normally need to show. There has to be some sort of very, very strong evidence of terrorism, smuggling, things like that. That makes sense. But otherwise, I
This
don't like them.
particular memo that dropped did say that they were only allowed to conduct such entries between 6 a.m. and 10 p.m. And it also says, if I'm not mistaken, it also, like an I-205 or something. Give me a second. I'm scrolling through it. There was something about they have to like knock first and give a reasonable chance for the people inside to act lawfully before they come
on the ICE stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the ICE stuff just goes into a completely different thing. So ICE, right? Like, when we're talking about an administrative warrant, I don't care what they're telling you. All our other case law says that administrative warrants function this way. They can absolutely have the warrant. I want to be clear. An immigration judge is not a Title III judge. Immigration judges are hired by the DOJ. They don't have the same power. Judicial warrants come from a court. They are signed by a judge. They list a specific person or items to be seized. Administrative warrants come from an agency like Department of Homeland Security or Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. They mean Jack and Diddley. When you show up with an administrative warrant to my house, this is the way this goes down. Hey, we need to know so-and-so's here. Let me see your warrant. That's me asking them, let me see your warrant. And then I look at the warrant and I find out it's an administrative warrant. I'm going to ask you to leave. You can't enter my dwelling. Bye. That's how that works. And they have no power to enter your dwelling. But if they bust in your door with a battering ram like they did and I believe his name is Garrett Gibson, but I could be wrong, so please don't hold me to that name. I know the last name is Gibson. I just can't remember the first name. A judge is going to tell them to eat shit, because like they did in Gibson's case, because administrative warrants do not give you the power to battering ram somebody's door. Judicial warrants do, because they're issued by a court, a real one. Like, I hate saying this, but immigration courts are not real courts. I mean, they are, but in the context of they take care of immigration matters, but they're not a court like we think of a court. They don't get to issue, my favorite argument on Twitter was somebody said that an immigration judge dealt with a habeas petition in Gibson's case. And I was like, no, That was the federal judge. The federal judge. The federal judge. Like, I feel like I'm beating my head
Dude,
against the wall sometimes.
I sent you some screenshots last night. Arguing with online fake warrior lawyers is so fun. They say some wild shit with their full chest.
My favorite is the Grok attorneys, the people that pull up Grok, but then they don't read all of what Grok said to where the part where Grok said they were absolutely 100% wrong. They just read like the first paragraph, and I'm like, did you read the rest of that?
Did you read the rest of it?
Because it told you were wrong. Anyway,
No.
yeah, but okay, so
administrative warrants specifically do not grant the authority to enter private spaces without consent. For example, ICE cannot enter homes or non-public areas of businesses without a judicial warrant. Like, they just can't. I don't give a shit that ICE put out a memo that said, oh, you're allowed to. They can't make it legal. Just because they say it doesn't violate the Fourth Amendment doesn't mean it doesn't violate the Fourth Amendment.
All I'm gonna say is, look, I've heard this around before, and I'll repeat it now. Nuremberg 2.0 is gonna be lit. When Trump is no longer in there, y'all aren't gonna have immunity anymore. Y'all aren't gonna be okay anymore. I would make sure your ass is acting right. Like, listen, I'm not a person who's going to say that everybody employed by them is just garbage, because I don't like absolutes. I think most of them know better, do better, you know? Like, there is no reason to terrorize people. There's no reason to exceed your authority, because guess what? I mean, Trump may end up paying the price, or Kristi Noem, but guess what? You're going to pay the cost of that. You will. Not anybody else.
That's right.
You raid somebody's house against their Fourth Amendment right, your ass is on the line. That's all there is to it. I don't care what.
Speaking of overstepping their bounds, we were discussing earlier, does anybody want to take a guess? What percentage, as of January 4th, what percentage of people ICE has detained actually have criminal records? Anybody? Because remember, the narrative has been, we're going after the worst. We're going after the schmurderers, the gang members. We're getting rid of the criminals. Does anybody want to take like a quick guess what percentage of people detained by ICE have criminal records? Anybody? I'll go ahead and tell you. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off. 29%, which means 71% of people, by their data, have no criminal records. And of that 29%, only 5% have violent criminal charges against them.
This is absolutely ridiculous. Like, okay, so here's my thing. I don't necessarily have a problem with deportation. I don't like it, but like,
right.
It's not my favorite thing. But like, if you were legitimately just going after people that have criminal records, you're never going to see me out there. Like, I know I have legitimately seen these videos where there are people that like ICE is telling them like this person is a sexual offender, and they're out here like crying for him. No, I'm going to be like, go on ahead. He's around the back, you know, like I don't care. I'm not that bitch. Like, I am not that hardcore. I don't care. But like, at the same time, do it legally. Don't violate people's Fourth Amendment rights. And like, you know, if you're just getting the bad guys, just get the bad guys. Like,
you're not going to have a problem. We've never seen the type of pushback in this country that we're seeing right now over deportations, like ever. And there's a reason for it. We're not pushing back because you're deporting people. You're denying them due process, and it's the way you're doing it. It's about cruelty. It's about the entertainment value at this point.
Yeah.
You're not following the law.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, we have American citizens ending up in ICE custody. We have people that are pretty much here, like they have all their documents. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing.
They're going to court proceedings to pick them up. They're going to their jobs. Newsflash. Why do you think they knew they were at their jobs? Because they've got ITNI numbers. They're paying taxes. They've got work visas or whatever the case may be, and they're going and getting them. You want to holler that we need to do this legally. They're literally going after the people that are here doing it legally.
Well, there's a gentleman here in Minnesota, the St. Paul News, or I believe it's over in St. Paul. They covered it a few days ago. He worked for the city, had all his documentation. The city runs all those checks. Da 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 da. They picked him up. He's sitting in a detention facility in El Paso. Why? Just why?
Why?
Like, bro was doing his job. He was working. He made sure he had all his, like, there's that's my thing is like I am perfectly fine if you're going after people that like have not like that let their visas expire and didn't file any paperwork.
Right.
Did some horrible shit. Like I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh my God, you shouldn't get rid of like I know they picked up a sex offender here, like in Minnesota not too long ago that people were
Mhm.
crying. Bitch, no, he's around back. Go get him. Like, I don't fucking care. Go,
Right.
that's fine.
Go.
Yeah, but like, I, I don't get it to the
The
point that it,
5-year-old coming home
yeah.
from school, I promise you that baby did not have a criminal record. I promise you. That baby's not a member of a gang. That baby doesn't have a criminal record.
So ICE made a statement that the father was trying to flee, and that's why they picked up the kid. And here's my thing:
I
Pixar
mean,
didn't
because ICE has
happen.
been so truthful up
That's
until now.
that's
That's the
my yeah, and
problem.
that's my thing. Like I keep trying to tell people is like, you know what? Okay, fair enough. They made this statement. They also put out to all their people that they can enter a home with an administrative warrant. I'm gonna trust the lawyer speaking for the kid right now. That's
Right.
who I'm gonna go with. If I'm weighing out who's more honest,
Who's more right?
I'll pass. I'll fucking
Yep.
pass. Like, I'm sorry. It just to me, it's the egregious nature of the redefinition of law that we're looking at. And that's sort of like titled for this administration. We're trying to redefine birthright citizenship. We're trying to redefine multiple other things. And it just really begs the question, like, I don't know how this is going to end, but it can't end well.
The only thing, like what we're doing right now, is we're literally testing the legality of everything. All political norms are out the window.
Yeah.
Like status quo, the things that have just always been gentlemen agreements. This is just something we know they wouldn't do. Now we're pushing every boundary, and we're like, well, fuck it. We'll just fight it out in court. We'll let the law decide. We are literally testing the fabric of our democracy against the legality of the actions.
Yeah, and we may have to go back to doing the regular lives because I think this wants us to battle and we don't, so it doesn't push us. But,
That's fine. I will be
yeah,
okay. I mean,
yeah,
okay, guys, we can start battling, start tapping roses. Like, send
yeah,
us a
everybody
penny here
tap.
and there. I don't
Everybody
fucking
tap.
know, but this is stupid.
Who loves the
All
Fourth
we wanted
Amendment?
to do was have equal
Yeah,
size boxes.
yeah, tap if you love the fucking Fourth Amendment, Like, fuck it, why not? I don't know. It's just crazy. Like, I think at the end of the day, like, I'm really nervous about the way that this is going to end because the Trump admin is not going to pull back. They're not. This is they're supposed to be having something over at the Target Center today, so I'll try to pop over there because it's literally right like the little skywalkway walks right into it from where I'm staying. So
I just
I'll
want you
try
to
to
be
go there.
safe while you're there. And I know that you've got a level head and you will be, but
I'm very neutral. Like I'm very much like I from a point of just I can't put myself into it because if I did something and God forbid something were to happen to me, like
you have
and
children.
yeah, yeah, no, I can't do it. It's not that I don't feel for the protesters and I absolutely support their fight, but I've seen other people come out here and they're like screaming and yelling at ICE officers and like I don't have to pay the penalty for that. The people in the state have to pay for what I say. So I'm gonna pass. If I could make it worse for somebody, I'm gonna pass.
Well, like we discussed earlier, sometimes if you're decent and pleasant to them, they get loose lips and they say shit that they shouldn't say. So there is an old saying, you catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar.
Then
And I'm not over here saying that we should just go like take ice water and tell them they're doing a great job and pat them on their little fucking heads.
no.
But if you're trying to get them to talk, I don't know if any of the rest of you saw, I saw a video today of an ICE agent admitting out loud that their directive isn't to go after criminals. It's literally to go after people with work visas because they can find them and take them in. And, you know, they lied and said we're doing it to push their cases through faster. But they're targeting people that are here the right way by their own admission. And I promise you, if that protester had been screaming in their face, that agent would have never said that on camera.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, I mean, I would rather like, you know, loose lips sink ships kind of thing. I mean, that's all there is to it. If they think like I'm just the nicest person in the world, I like to just act like a dumbass because since they like to be a big man, you know, they save everybody. They're
You
rah
want to
rah rah
explain
rah.
it to me?
Can you please explain it to me? Like I'm so stupid and I don't have a brain cell to rub between my head, you know? Like I don't care. I'm not above it.
Absolutely.
I'll play dumb. I can play dumb.
Right. Bat your eyes.
Can you
Flash
tell
that
me
smile.
like a little bit more? I love it
Prop
so
them
much.
up.
I wish I could, but I'm gonna be in friggin' you remember A Christmas Story when she puts the little
Yes.
boy in the thing? Like that's what I'm gonna be in if I go outside.
I don't
Normally
blame you.
I'm
It is
with you.
there's literally an exploding tree warning where you're at. So your attire should be, you know, cold weather appropriate.
I know I sent it to somebody and I was like, do I need to get a helmet? And they were laughing. They were like, no. Yeah, I think you're okay. I was like, all right, man. Fucking trees are exploding. Like, I don't remember if I think I said it was Kofifi that answered that, I think, because I was like, I was in Monica's Discord and I was like, do I need to get a
Mhm.
helmet? Because I'm
Is this
fucked.
like a thing?
Yeah.
Bullet plated vest to
Yeah.
stop splinters?
Yeah,
Like what's
exactly.
going
Like
on?
you don't need it for the bullets. You need it
You
for
need
the
it for the
splinters.
splinters.
Oh my goodness.
So,
But yeah, it's just it's been wild. Oh, do you want to talk about anything that went on with Trump over at Davos or whatever the fuck it is?
I mean, anything you want to bring up is fine. That was just a shit show, right? Like, how embarrassing is he?
Like level 900 if I'm going 1 to 10. I mean, I would say level. Listen, like I didn't watch Davos because there was so much going on and I've been sick for the past few days, but like people have just been commenting on it left and right and I don't have enough to say about it. I know there was a whole thing you were telling me about the dictator comment but you said that people were not listening to the context that
Right.
surrounded it.
So we're seeing a lot of people reposting a clip of Trump saying, well, sometimes you need a dictator, referring
Yeah.
to himself. But the context of that was simply him bragging about himself, like he often does. He's like, oh, yeah, I made the best speech.
The
It was the best
bigliest.
speech. Right. And for once, like we're getting everybody saying it was a great speech. Normally the press says that I'm very dictator-like, and sometimes you need a dictator, but not this time.
Oh.
They're saying I did great. So while they're sharing this, you know, clip of him saying sometimes you need a dictator, like in the context he meant it, it's still a problematic thing to say, but he was bragging on himself, saying for once they didn't call me a dictator.
I mean, to be fair, like he's kind of always a problem. So like this wasn't like big news for me. Like
Anytime he uses words, there's gonna be a problem.
yeah. Did you
Like,
watch any of the Jack Smith stuff?
I watched very little of it. I wish I had caught it more. Obviously, yesterday was a really busy day for me. I feel
Yeah,
like we're a little underprepared for some of the stuff. We can hit
yeah.
some of this stuff up on Monday.
Well,
Monday? Today's Friday? Holy shit, it's Monday.
we'll have more info in on Monday. Monday's usually better for us, but
I
like,
did. Go
yeah.
ahead.
Oh, no, no, no. The one thing I will tell you, the one thing I saw that like I don't have enough information on was the interaction between, what is it, like Fancone or
Fanone and
Fanone, sorry, Fanone, and there was I guess it's a
the
representative
right
that,
wing Proud Boy guy
yeah.
or whatever, the commentary, whatever.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I want to know everything about that. And I'm sure by Monday we will have all the information about that. Like Jack Smith, at least from what I saw, he was a boss like he normally
Right.
is. He was
Like
very
always.
professional. Yeah,
Facts on facts on facts. He's got his receipts. He crossed
yeah,
his T's. He dotted his I's. They're going to try all day long to pretend like this is political theater. And it's not. The man
yeah.
prosecuted the case and believes he could win.
Yeah, and like here's the thing is like they were like trying to make like associations that there was like I remember this because from the little bit I was flying all day yesterday. I was in the plane for
Right.
about 8 hours yesterday. So I watched what I could and like here's the thing. They were apparently trying to make some associations like it was some sort of conspiracy and da 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 da. And like Jack Smith, I felt like he did a good job of kind of putting that to bed and he was just like look, man, they fucking hired me. I did my job.
Right.
Like, I didn't come in. It wasn't like I was like, oh my God, like he put it to bed from at least what I saw over the weekend here, especially when it's like -20 tomorrow or whatever it's supposed to be. I'll try to like watch through all of it and pull what I can. But I think
You're
really,
not shaking him.
yeah,
They're not going to rattle him.
seems quite unbothered. I mean, what are you gonna do, right? Like, he got hired to do a job and he did it to the best of his ability. Oh my God, what a horrible person. I don't know what we're gonna do now.
I did really enjoy Michael Fanone's coughing fit in the middle of that Republican lawmaker speaking, saying that, oh,
Bullshit.
well, Donald Trump didn't. Fuck yourself.
Listen,
I'm just saying it was fantastic. We need more of those.
we do need more of that.
There was something I did maybe want to bring up from Davos, which has
Sure.
nothing to do with ICE or anything. I'm sure I made a video about it. I don't know how many of you are aware that Trump was touting that he was going to place a 10% cap on interest for credit cards. And that deadline was actually like Tuesday of this week. He said he was going to have it done by. And as we've all noticed, nobody's credit card interest has been capped at 10% because he can't do that. But I did find this interesting. So Jamie Dimon, who's JP Morgan Chase or whatever,
Uh-huh.
he spoke in Davos. And he actually brought that up and he said that it would be an economic disaster if they capped that interest. And of course, we have to understand that they don't want to lose money, right? But he said what it would actually do is cause all of the lenders to pull back their credit and make anybody with less than perfect credit, they would quit loaning to them. So they would just claw back all the credit. And it said that it would leave 80% of all Americans unable to access credit if he placed a 10% cap
Yeah,
on
because they're
interest.
just gonna take away who has
Right.
access. It's not going
That's it.
to benefit anybody in that way. Like, and I mean,
Think about that for a minute.
yeah,
Everybody think about 80% of Americans losing their credit cards. The store cards, credit cards, whether you have a card to get tires, like a Goodyear card to put tires on your car if you can't afford to pay for it all at once. Like Americans depend on credit. Let's call it what it is. If you close down 80% of Americans' access to credit, you're going to hurt people.
yeah,
And my other point with that is the next day, the Department of Justice is going after Jamie Dimon for not loaning Trump money. Yeah, Jamie Dimon makes a speech saying you can't do this 10% cap thing. And the very next day, maybe 2 days later, now the Department of Justice is looking into suing. Donald Trump is suing Jamie Dimon.
but A personal lawsuit.
Uh-huh. Over not giving funds to the Trump organization for different things, like denying them credit.
You know, they can accuse Biden of weaponizing the DOJ if they want. I can be like, I could even maybe like wrap my brain around that. Like, granted, I think what Trump did was wrong, and I didn't find it to be weaponization. However, if you want, and then that's the game you want to play, sure, okay, we'll play it. He weaponized it. This is beyond reproach, though. Like, I mean, can we get the next president I want is somebody who is like Mother Teresa like in the fact that they don't want to do this shit. Like all they want.
Damn, that eliminates me. I was gonna run for president.
Oh, well, I would totally vote for you. Can I weaponize your DOJ?
We can weaponize a lot of things. I don't know.
Saying,
I can be very emotional.
That kind of sounds dirty. Can I weaponize your DOJ? Hey. Sorry.
So anyways, I found that very interesting that right after Jamie Dimon made that speech, it breaks that Trump is now suing Jamie Dimon. I found that very interesting. God forbid he speaks some facts about the credit industry on a world stage and embarrasses Trump's little idea that he's...
How dare him? How dare him?
Somebody needs to give him a Big Mac, a quarter pounder, and a Diet Coke and put him in the corner. Also, did you see the big ass bruise on his hand? Did you happen? It's really, really bad. So, Caroline, after the reporters were like, hey, what's that big ass, like, dark purple bruise?
Yeah.
And she runs right to the media and then she's like, oh, well, I just want to let everybody know that Donald Trump hit his hand on the desk while he was speaking and that it caused it to bruise.
What?
I shit you not. Like, she's a professional liar, which is wild.
Yeah, she kind of looks like it though. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I hate to be that bitch, but I'm gonna be that bitch. Like, she just looks like she could just tell you, fuck. I swear to God, I really think at this point, Trump could sell Trump supporters shit and tell them it's chocolate, and they would be like, this is delicious.
This is the best chocolate I ever had.
Listen, and I feel like I was fairly consistent about this. When Biden was in office, I was a fucking dick about Biden. I was like, this guy is fucking up here. And like, I don't know what the hell y'all are saying. Like, I'm not gonna glaze Biden. I'm sure as shit not gonna glaze Trump. Like, Biden did some fuck shit. And there were things I was genuinely upset with Biden for. But like, this, like, oh, just like govern me harder, daddy, like violate my rights a little bit more, you know?
And the my rights people are just
the don't tread on me motherfuckers would be out here like, in droves.
Not to get all like X-rated, but they're like spreading it open and asking for it harder. Like it's wild.
And that's hot, but not in this context. Like I'm just saying, like all I'm saying is like if you're like a don't tread on me person, and I am a don't tread on me person, so I know what the fuck they are. If you are a don't tread on me person, hearing that they're getting into houses and not respecting the Fourth Amendment, I expect you out here with the fucking flag saying fuck ICE and fuck Trump too. Like, that is my expectation if you really meant don't tread on me.
I mean, it's no different than them suddenly having a problem with people open carrying. Two-way supporters.
Bruh.
Like you have said 1,000 times, everybody's okay with a dictator as long as it's your dictator.
That part. They really are. Like, I mean, oh my God. When I read the Her report and people were just like, oh, wasn't that he went. No, it was bad. It was bad. Literally what William Hur said. He said, I could probably prosecute him, but he's old and I don't think it's going to make it through trial. Biden told things that was confidential to his
Right.
ghostwriter. That her report was bad. And that was the point where I said, I cannot support Biden. I will not support him because I have to have the same energy for Trump that I do for
Right.
Biden and the same energy for Biden that I do for Trump. And I feel that way if it's confidential information, if it's information that shouldn't be somewhere and you're out here, blah, 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 I have a problem.
Which is the whole point of what we're doing right here with
Yeah.
politically deconstructing. We are talking about issues that have become partisan, and these type of things should not be partisan issues. These should be fucking standards across the board. Left side, right side, fucking standards are standards, and we don't raise or lower the bar based on whether or not we politically align with the person fucking off.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like I felt strongly about that, and I'm going to feel strongly about that. If you're violating the law in any way, I don't care who you are. Like I
Right.
don't care. It doesn't bother me to just be like, you're not the guy for me. Like I can write you off as easily as I voted for you. I don't worship anybody. I don't care. Like I used to like Bernie Sanders, and then I heard him say about Plattner, we have bigger problems than a guy with a Nazi tattoo on his chest. So you know what I did? I was like, go fuck yourself, Bernie Sanders.
Done. Yeah.
I was done.
That Trump suit against Jamie Dimon? Trump's asking for $5 billion. $5 billion.
5 billion. What? Like, but what? But why? What? Like, is there a context to this? Have they filed it yet? I gotta know. I gotta know what they're
Hold on,
alleging.
let's look. Let's the Google machine.
Was your heart broken for Davo? Sorry, Davo's in the comments. I had to ask.
You're good.
Oh, yeah.
Trump
Yeah.
sues JP Morgan over allegations of debanking because JP Morgan
Oh,
wasn't
I
going to
did
loan.
hear about
You
this.
did hear about it because this was a thing like before they were raising hell about it. Like Trump's sons were raising about hell about it pre-election. But now, miraculously, like I said, right after he makes this speech at Davos, now we're suing.
Okay, so debanking is where basically they're like, no, you can't bank here, right?
It's where I think it was them saying they weren't going to loan them any more money. They didn't want their business.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
improperly closed accounts is what they're saying. They're saying that they closed the accounts for political reasons,
okay.
not for financial reasons.
And I'm gonna hold everybody's hand when I say this.
Please do.
It's a private company. If they want to tell you to go fuck yourself, they can. Now, there are subject to some federal rules and regulations because I'm pretty sure they're FDIC insured and na. But like overwhelmingly in court, if a bank wants to pull your account, you're just gonna have to live with it, Pookie. Go bank somewhere else. It ain't the end of the world. Like, I have a Capital One account. I love Capital One. But if they ever pulled my account, I'd go bank somewhere else. My only beef with Capital One, I will say this though. My only beef with Capital One is that there's not a lot in smaller cities. So if you ever have a large check to cash that's over $5,000, you have to go to a big city to put it in the bank, and it sucks.
Well,
But other than that,
to put it in a bank. I was going to be
yeah.
like, to cash it, like, who the fuck needs $5,000 in cash?
No. Like, you could cash it
I
and
mean,
everything, but yeah.
Sometimes.
Supposedly cut him off from his trust. Who's got a trust
What?
fund, Davo? Thor? Or why did I say Thor? I was about to say Trump. But yeah, I know like the debanking is like, I don't think they can cut you off like that though. That is so weird. I don't know. I'd have to look into it more, but here's the thing.
I'm looking.
Cry harder. Thor, the largest purchase I ever make is my groceries. When is Trump going to lower these grocery prices? I'm just saying. I feel like he ran on that.
I mean, he said that it was no big deal. He called Bank of America and they gave him, like, they were happy to take his business. So it doesn't sound like you were actually injured. It's literally a couple clicks of a mouse to transfer money from one institution to another.
Yeah, I guess I want to see how that lawsuit goes. Like, I hate finance law. Like, anytime, like, the
It,
case I hated the most.
JP Morgan's their statement said, "We do not close accounts for political or religious reasons. We do close accounts because they create legal or regulatory risks for the company."
Oh my.
That was JP Morgan Chase's statement about why what happened. And with all the fraud allegations that he's got and all of the different things, like, you could see why a bank may not want to get involved in that legal tangle. If I were getting investigated from fraud, my bank would probably call me up and be like, "Hey, homie, you might want to move your money. Like, we don't want
Yeah.
the government coming in and seizing these accounts. That creates a legal headache for us."
And like, I'll be really clear, like, I'll follow this case a little bit. I hate finance law because, like, when they're in, oh my God, home mortgages and stuff drives me crazy. Like, this seems to be a crux of a lot of what the Trump administration is doing right now. And I cannot stand it because those are the most boring cases ever. Like, everybody was on about the Judge Engeron and the Letitia James and the fraud case with his mortgage. Like, people want to talk about that all the time. I was like, that's the most boring case they have. And that case is going to be lowered. And guess what? It happened. It got lowered by the appeals court. They were like, he ain't going to pay all that shit. Like, that was, I will say, there are times when I'm like, they're pushing the board too much. That was one of the cases they were pushing the board too much. Also, the cases out of Georgia were legitimate. Like, they were, but tagging them up
Right.
under RICO made them very problematic, and that
Right.
created a bigger problem because if they would have individually charged, they could have moved forward and actually gotten some convictions. But her tying it up in a RICO, like, made it more complicated, and then it led
Right.
to all the shit we saw.
All the
Like,
bullshit. Right.
there are times where I'm like, I can look at a case and I can be like, this is problematic. And those were cases where I was like, this is going to be a problem. The federal stuff out of Jack Smith was all good. It just took too long. Some of the cases out of New York were okay. Some of them were too much. And I was just like,
And I'm not
pushing.
even going to make a lot of comments on that because you are far more legal minded than I am. Like, I can read legalese and understand it well enough,
Yeah.
but I don't go digging into cases until they're like front and center. And then I'll read what's presented, but I'm not going to make an assessment. I'm not that person.
I mean, but I apply it the same way. Like, if I see shit come out of Trump administration, I would have this same energy for it. Like, if I'm like, no, that's a reasonable case or that's a valid case, like, I'm not going to fight, people on that. Like, I cannot like it, but I can also look at it and be like, well, they fucked up. They needed to be prosecuted. But there's so much right now that just doesn't seem valid. It seems like very malicious.
Above board.
Yeah, like the stuff for the church protesters, bitch, they went into a church. Like, I'm sorry. There are times and places where I think stuff like that might be absolutely warranted. If they had done some like destructive activities or things like that, and I thought what they were doing was annoying and petulant and stupid, just to be clear. You didn't need to do that.
I don't think
didn't
it
need to
helped
happen.
anything.
Yeah, it doesn't
I
help.
don't
It's
think it
only
helped
hurting.
anything.
But
Now, don't
like,
get me wrong. I thought that shit was funny, but I'm not the one facing the legal consequences for
Yeah.
it either.
yeah,
Like, I
like-
get the point of it. The pastor supposedly is an ICE agent. I think it's humorous. I don't
Yeah.
know that I would have led the charge in there. I might have been like, I'll eat popcorn outside.
people have their reasons for sure, and that's fine. But here's the thing: at the end of the day, it's not the look you're trying to sell. If you wanted to go like get him on the job, like not get him, but like just
I
protest him
know.
on the job, I would have been like, cool, we're good. But like,
Yeah, but his job as a pastor,
yeah,
like that job, you can't.
yeah,
It's different. And you could have caught him coming out of the church.
yeah.
Like instead of going into the middle, you could have stood outside. You could have caught his congregation as they were coming out and said, "Hey, do you know your pastor is an ICE agent? Do you know that he's not teaching you properly?" But going into the church and interrupting the service is
Well, and
I
it's private property, right? So it's churches are private property.
it's private property with like an implied public access.
Yeah,
though.
it's private property that's open to the public. It's kind of like Walmart
Right.
or
But
Best
you
Buy.
can be asked to
Yeah.
leave
Yes.
just like anywhere
Absolutely.
else.
And that's why I get like really mad because people are like, well, they're exercising their First Amendment right. I'll hold your hands again while I say this. In a private dwelling, it's not the same.
No different than the 2A case we just heard, where you don't necessarily just have the right to carry when you're going into someone's home. That homeowner has the right to tell you whether or not they want those things in their home.
Yeah, Davo, okay, so Davo for our YouTube
I don't see
people.
Davo's comments. I think that we see different comments
Yeah.
because we're co-hosting. Because I've got Cosmo over here on mine, which is
Oh,
funny
he's
because I would
going
figure
back and
Cosmo
forth.
would be talking to you.
We're always going back and forth. So Davo, for our YouTube people's asking a question. Here's the question that's double-edged as fuck. Should a entity that doesn't pay taxes be protected in such a way? That is really a question for the ages. I find it interesting when you're talking about an entity that doesn't pay taxes, that's prescribed by the government, that they don't have to pay tax. I've always thought they should have to pay taxes.
I do too.
Am not here for it. But yes, they own the building. The church owns the building largely, right? Like, so the church owns the building. It's a private business that is open to the public. Yes, and as much as I hate it, yes, they do.
Legal is legal.
Legal,
Even
it's
if you don't agree
legal.
with it.
Yeah, like Scalia, I believe it's Scalia. So it may not be smart, but it's legal. It may not be smart, but it's constitutional. Or no, Scalia is stupid but constitutional. That's what Scalia is. Stupid.
Yeah, stupid but constitutional.
Yeah. And I mean, like, here's the thing, like, if it was whatever that pastor was doing outside of that church, okay, fine. Like, I'd be mad, but at the same time, like, this wasn't it, and I won't back down on that.
Constitutionally, your right to like freedom of religion to express your religious beliefs is protected constitutionally. Does this infringe on that when in the middle of your worship service you have protesters come in and interrupt that?
No. Okay, so the protection of religion.
Well, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah. So the protection of religion would only come in is if the government.
If the government
comes in and tries to censor you, that's a
Right.
problem. If the government
Okay.
comes into wherever and tries to say you can't do this, that becomes a problem. But it kind of gets into this overlap right here, where I'm not sure where I'm at, because, and I talked about this in my video about Don Lemon. So they shouldn't have been in that church, right? Like they can go in that church, but the church asked them to leave. That's the like supposition.
The church asked them to leave,
Yeah.
and that was the end.
And
of
the church is private property, so they asked them to leave. But then they had said something about like, now if they were on public property outside the church, I would have a very different take on this than the take I'm having right now. But then they said something about wanting to apply the FACE Act to Don Lemon. And I know that they didn't do that, but that's not what I'm getting after here. They, the church asked them to leave. They didn't leave. And I said, paramountly, I just thought it should be maybe like a protest charge, or not. I'm sorry,
Right.
trespassing. Sorry, not protest.
Right.
Just a trespassing charge at max. Well, the government wants to levy charges. And my thing is, since it's a private entity, and they were inside that private entity, even though they were asked to leave. Is the government now censoring their speech by
Right.
prosecuting them
Right.
for being asked to leave? Like, that's the part where I'll probably have to talk to law or somebody and just see if you
Right.
can kind of like help me, because it's one of those where your brain starts going and you start
Right.
overlapping
And that's
things.
very nuanced, and there's going to be a
Yeah.
lot of layers to how that's going to play out. I want to tell you, Cosmo is in my comments, and he said something that I found he called it stupid-tutional. It's stupid but constitutional. Stupid-tutional.
Yeah.
I felt like that was a good word, and I'm going to give him credit for that one. Like, I like that, Cosmo. Stupid-tutional.
That's awesome. Cosmo told me I need to run for president, and I was like, no, I'm the bitch that you hired to run your campaign. I'm too mouthy and too loud. I am not the person who runs. I'm the person throwing shit at you on the stage, telling you, bitch, don't do that.
Right. I would start too many of my campaign speeches with "listen, motherfucker." Like, I really would.
My God, like, but just think about how wonderful that would be. We need more of that. We need more of the people that are
But
like,
we really, like, I don't need fourth graders like, hey, are you guys watching the debates? Yeah, I saw President hopeful Lady Google say, hey, motherfuckers. Like,
sorry, listen, I mean, those kids are going to hear it anyway. They'll be all right. They'll be all right. Like, I always tell people,
I don't gentle parent because I don't have gentle kids. I don't know what to tell you.
I always tell people when they're like, oh my God, I said something in front of your kid, I'm like, they hear worse shit from me in the car. I fucking promise. Because, like, I will be like, this mother, blah, blah, blah. Somebody cut me off. And I'm like, Mom didn't say that, like.
Oh, no. So I was telling a story the other day, just like, Allie is 13, but when she was like 4 or 5, I love Ludacris. Just anybody that doesn't know, I love Ludacris. I got tickets to see Luda. I love Luda.
Did that bitch ever get out of Luda's way? And I love Luda too, bitch. We're the same person. I really think we are
you
the
should
same
come to
person.
town and we'll go to the Luda concert together. I'll grab another ticket. But anyways, she used to sit in the back seat when she was like 4 or 5 years old, and we'd be on our way somewhere, and she'd be like, Mom, put on that song. What song? That song I'm not allowed to sing. Which one? That Move song that I'm not allowed to sing. Oh. And she wanted Move, bitch, get out the way. And then when it starts, she'd be in her little car seat going,
oh my God, I love it. That's so adorable. That's so cute.
And now on the way to volleyball, like our number one hype song when we're like getting ready for tournaments is I Don't Fuck With You.
I love it. I love it so much. That's awesome. All right, guys. Anybody got any questions or anything? Throw it in the chat. But Googs, we got anything else for today?
No, I just want to appreciate those people that have come in and followed and stayed with us through this. Like, I appreciate all of you. And I do want to say, we've all seen that the algorithm on here is getting a little sketch since they're swapping us over. Make sure that you follow the two of us on the tube of views. I am at Lady Googs, and she is Cass Does Courts. So make sure that you're following us over there, because we really like it. There may come a point in time where we've got to make that switch and we start going live over there, and we don't want to lose any of you. Like, we love you all and we appreciate you. So make sure that you get over to YouTube and follow us over there at Lady Googs and at Cass Does Courts.
That sounds good. And Davo, the answer to your question, how can a bumblebee fly when it's proven they're too heavy for their wings? Magic.
The same way Donald Trump can be fucking president when it's been proven he's too stupid to be.
I love it. And on that note, we're going to go, guys. Love y'all. Bye.